Hey, this is Politics with Laura, to where everything is politics. Whether if it's here locally in the US or if it's international, you will get the true news because I use newspapers from around the world. Politicians here or politicians over there, or if there's a war here or a war over there, I would make sure that you know about it. You would never believe what I discovered. Now, Candace Owens, I always had a hard time with her. Actually, at first, when she first came out, about what, 5, 6 years ago, actually a little bit before that, she was on a podcast and she was spouting out all of this Republican rhetoric. But it seemed like, to me, it seemed like borderline black hate. like, like she would pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Now, it wouldn't bother me if somebody was from another country and would say something like that and don't know or have the experiences, or better yet, understand the foundation of this country. That she coming out and how she used to go hard on, and actually even harder. I mean, she might be getting sued for defamation. Just some things, just some lines you just simply don't cross, but she's a line crosser. And I remember seeing her, and I typed something in saying, look, Candace, you better be careful. Look up a guy named Michael Steele, and you're being used. Because both party uses people, especially black people. Especially black people and minorities, they are used to benefit either party. Keep in mind, either wing moves the same bird. It's just a fact. Now, and I put that in there. I never got a response. I wasn't expecting to get a response. I just was simply putting that there like, hey, watch yourself because you're going to get relaxed. You're going to do everything what they want you to do. And then you're going to be the laughing stock as Michael Steele was about 10 years ago at the National Republican Party conference, to where this gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he came out and he said, well, you know, Michael Steele, I'm sorry that we used you and now we're kicking you to the curb. Kicking you to the curb is my words, but we no longer need your services. Oh, Michael Steele was so mad. Still a Republican. He now does not run in those circles, and they don't talk to him anymore because he was a useful idiot. Now, Candace Owens is a useful idiot. Going against Democrats. Again, good cop, bad cop, bad cop, good cop. They go back and forth. Now, Candace Owens has run on the platform that she has never experienced racism. Well, that's not true. Matter of fact, let me see, when she was 17. In this article, there's a couple of articles, but this is the first one that popped up. Candace Owens says she has never experienced racism, but in 2008, lawsuit determined that was a lie. Can't make this stuff up. And she says that for many years now, she alleged that President Obama race baited the country with his rhetoric. She amplified Donald Trump's message about making America great again, claiming that in our criticism of Donald Trump, we've somehow lost our way. Now, it goes on and on. But if you want to back Donald Trump, do so. But You don't have to tell half truths about your point. Vote for the man, promote him, but don't sit here and say that you never experienced racism. And I'm not talking about calling someone names. That is not racism. That is prejudiced, being bigoted. But when you are a racist, you can take your prejudice and being a bigot, and move it forward into changing someone's life. That is racism. You change someone's life. Now, Candace Owens, she says, and another panelist, a black man asked Candace Owens what Obama did to drum up racial tension. Owens said the police violence stuff he backed up with the myth of police brutality. That is a myth. There's this young PhD candidate. She went through a lot of the stuff going back in the 60s down there in Alabama and Mississippi to do her thesis or her dissertation. And she uncovered, I can't remember her name, but she uncovered actual documentation stating that the KKK should go into law enforcement. This was back in the 60s. Go into law enforcement, go into law, become judges, legislators, all of those areas. Even the FBI said you can be a part of the KKK as long as it does not interfere with your job. Do they not know what the KKK is? I think they might be slightly misinformed. But Candace Owens is worse than misinformed. She's willfully misinformed, in my opinion. Now, goes on to say he added gasoline to the fire after it was simply untrue. The myth of police brutality, white Americans and Hispanic Americans are shot at a higher rate than black people in America. Okay. Now, on what a lot of politicians, white politicians say, and she has spoke this talking point, and she only does talking points. That's it. You scratch the surface, and not much else comes out but her talking points. She says that that African Americans are 13% of the population, but 80% of the people in jail. Just that. Now that whites and Latinos, or I'm sorry, Hispanics, are victims, they're killed at a higher rate than black Americans. But, she doesn't bring out those statistics at all. She'll just cite them, but she don't give she doesn't show proof of it or tell you where to find it. Now, I'm not saying that whites or Hispanics do not get killed by police. They do. More so, the police have a way of calming down the situation. But just last year in D.C., a white police officer in Southeast, when was this? June or July of 2021. This is 2022. To where the police officer had the guy in handcuffs and then start just beating him up. The two other white police officers stopped him. Held the black guy and did not stop the police officer from punching him. The man didn't care that he was being taped. It didn't matter to him because he, in my opinion, was working off his privilege. Until the young black guys start throwing garbage cans at him and then made them stop. It's on the social media. You could check that out. But Candace Owens, for her, it doesn't exist. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Now, it goes on to say, according to News Times, in February 2007, at least one of 5 teenagers left messages threatening to kill Candace Owens. She never said that. She never said, "Oh, well, she never experienced any racism." Repeatedly using racial epithets during this conversation. In another message, the teen threatened to burn Candace's house down and tar and feather her. One of the teenagers was the son of a Stamford, Connecticut mayor, Daniel Mallory. Mallory's son Sam, who was 14 at the time, Owens was unable to sue the city for falling into the act of harassment, but because of his familiar connections to the mayor. Sam was not the instigator of the phone calls. Instead, it was then an 18-year-old Evan Kopech, a former friend and classmate of Owens. 2 days before she received the message, Kopech and Owens were involved in a screaming match during class. School officials suspended Kopech for that incident, but there was another situation that happened off campus where he was not punished, but the school argued because the police did not make an arrest, they wouldn't punish him. Now, this is where it gets good. Owens filed a lawsuit claiming the school district and their decision to delay punishment did not protect Owens' safety. Remember, she never faced any racism. Keep that in mind. They argue that the school's federal Title IX law for banning discrimination in schools that were receiving federal monies. Owen eventually was awarded $37,000 from the Board of Education. But you never experienced any racism. But you got paid for not experiencing any racism. You were never called horrible names. You were never threatened, but it gets better. So she went to the NAACP, who helped her with the case. This has so many layers to it, so many layers. But she said, when in fact she had, okay, wait a minute, let me go back. She validated white supremacy with her notion that racism is over and that she never experienced it. Racism is over because you got paid? Is that why it's over for you? Because you got paid? I just don't like flip-floppy people like that. So disingenuous. Okay. Instead of opening her eyes with the suffering of other black people around this country, she uses her racist ideology to make money. She validates white supremacy with her own notion that racism is over and that she has never experienced it, when in fact she has. Like her lawsuit states, it certainly has traumatized her, and that trauma went on beyond her missing weeks of school. The trauma manifested in ways she proceeded to hurt other black people. When I discovered this, like like I said, I thought that Candace Owens was being used by the Republican Party and to be careful. But she is a complete willing participant. Now she goes on to attack black people. Oh, she's really vicious. Oh, vicious. And I look at some of the things that she says. Anything black is ugly. Just listen to her. Now she just recently, last year, a Republican candidate, and she's a conservative, Kim Kasich. I'm sorry, Kim Kasich, out of Baltimore. Now Candace got on social media and said that she believed, through what people were saying, that she's a stripper, money laundering, and what else did she say, allegedly say? A couple of other things that caused Kim to lose endorsements. She lost a lot. Now, my thing is this. Candace Owens, she went after her, but who was she speaking for? She attacked Kim. She went after her. So who was behind Candace? Because it seems like to me that Candace is a guided missile. If someone has a problem with someone black, they'll send Candace and they'll whoop, pew, send that missile. Now, Candace has a great rapport, with Republicans. And I'm not saying that Republicans are racist. No, furthest from the truth. There are some great Republicans. I'm just talking about Republicans like Candace. Now, however you may feel about Donald Trump, whether if you think he's a racist or if he's this or he's that right there is your prerogative. Donald Trump, he says some horrific things. He has. I look at what you do, not what you say, but what you do. And Candace has done a lot. And Candace is going to come back to bite you. And when it does, you're going to be in no woman's land, because you have done so much to insult, to harass, and to go after black people. And once the Republicans are done with you, which I think in this election, a lot more black people are turning Republican, then they're going to take the rug and pull it from under you, and you're going to be by yourself because they no longer need you. Look at Omarosa. Oh, Omarosa was used real good. And now she can't even make her way back in the black community because it was all, I'm in a White House. That's you, Candace. That's you. I want to feel bad for you, but I don't, because I know you have been warned many times. And even in that interview with Dr. Cornel West, he was really gentle with you, knowing that you're young and you're simple. But he laid it out to you. He gave you the information, and you couldn't do nothing but consistently spit your talking points back in his face. And I'm looking at Candace like, You're going to be out there on your own. On that note, I just wanted to put that out there. You know, Candace Owens, she's not who she seems. To me, she's a fraud. Does she make some good points? She does. She does. I just don't like liars like that. No, that's a strong word. I just don't like sneaky people like that. Candace is entirely too sneaky. Very sneaky, but she'll come across that bridge and then she's going to be by herself. What do you think? I want to thank you for stopping by, because you could be anywhere, but you decide to stay here with me and listen to my video, because politics runs the world. Now, whether if you agree with the politics or not, put something down in the comment section. Whether if you agree or disagree with me, that is okay. We can agree to disagree, or we can agree to agree. So please help me get to 500 subscribers, and then help me get to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for stopping by.